Yes, so today we are moving on to the statistics part. In that, we are dealing with the first chapter, that is the introduction of statistics. So before that, in your textbook, it is given about some introduction about the basic economics. That is, we are going to deal. That is, what is economics? Economics is a study of ordinary life of a man. That is actually was told by Alfred Marshall, our father of microeconomics. So Alfred Marshall told it is the study of man in the ordinary business of life. So economics means actually that is what we do in our life. And he like some basic concepts are there. So first one is consumer. Consumer means who consumes to satisfy the needs. Okay. All this we have discussed in the microeconomics part, but as it is given in your textbook, I have to deal with it again. So consumer means actually he is a person who buys goods and services to satisfy his wants with this with his limited money income. So consumer is a person or a consumer is a person who buys goods and services to satisfy his wants. Okay. Yes. Then you have a seller or a producer. So seller or producer means he is the one who creates utility, or you can say he creates new products in the economy. So producer, we have already discussed all these things. So producer is the one who creates utility or creates new products in the economy. Then so he is called a producer. Then you have employee and employer. Employee means if you are working under a person and you are getting wages or salaries paid by him, you are called an employee. And employer means he is the one who hires the person into his business and pays him the wages. So employee means he is the worker and employer means he is the boss. Then so if you are an employee or if you are getting wages, you could say that you are engaged in an economic activity. So economic activity means it is a what you can say, it is a activity which gives something in return. So there is some profit oriented element in economic activity. So economic activity means those activities which provides you with any of the rewards or in return you will get profit. So that is these are the major players of the economy, that is producer and consumer. And producer and consumer is coming in the form of employee and employer. Then you have scarcity. So scarcity means it is the root cause of all the problems in the economy. So we have discussed the three basic problems of economy: what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. So these we were discussing in the first chapter of microeconomics. And we have limited resources with our unlimited wants. And these limited resources has alternative uses. That is why we have to choose among our priorities, or you should prioritize your needs. So alternative uses, that is the basic problem if you like which you face, okay, which you face in the economy, that is it. So with that only three economic problems emerged, that is what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. So what to produce means those goods which has demand in the economy, that will be produced in the economy. And how to produce, you have two techniques of production, that is labor intensive production technique and capital intensive production technique. So whichever the producer has low cost, or the producer has to always go for minimizing his cost because to have more profit. So that is why he will buy, and so he will adopt those that production technique which gives you what you can say less cost of production. Then for whom to produce, those who can afford to buy these goods and services with their income, we are producing for them. Okay, now you have four basic function of the economy, that is distribution, consumption, exchange, and production. So exchange and distribution comes as same concepts. So you have three main functions in the economy, or three main elements in the economy, that is consumption, production, and distribution. Consumption means actually the consumer with his money income, he actually buys goods and services what is produced in the economy. So without consumption and without distribution as well as without production, the economy will not move forward. So whatever is produced in the economy, you should have consumers to buy that products or goods and services. So then only there will be a flow of goods and services in the economy. Otherwise that will be stayed within the producer itself. So consumption. So consumption means it is the act of consuming the goods and services of the economy. Then production. Production means it is actually increase in the GDP of a country. That means output generation is main in the production. So that means the new products are created through production process. So that means it adds to the country's GDP, that is gross domestic product or the national income. National income or gross domestic product means it is the total value of all goods and services produced in the economy during 1 year. So that is GDP. So this what you can say, these all things adds to the GDP. Okay, so production means it is an addition to GDP or addition to the economic growth of a country. Then comes distribution. Distribution means the consumer and producer is like this. So the goods to reach producers, from producers to consumers, you need a proper channel. That is called distribution. So distribution needs a proper channel to be channelized to reach those produced goods to the consumers. So that is channel of distribution. That means how these income is divided, or how these income of factors of production is divided among the citizens of India or population of India. That is, for land you get rent, for labor you get wages, and for capital you get interest, and for entrepreneur or organization you get profit. These are the what you can say, the income received of a economy. So how it is distributed in the economy, that is how you study about the distribution process. So economics is the study of how alternative or how these scarce resources are what you can say, allocated to the unlimited wants of people, which has alternative uses. Okay, so these are economics, and we are now moving on to the statistics. That is the statistics part of economics. And statistics part of economics, so I guess now economics part is clear for you. Introduction of economics is clear for you. Now we will move on to the statistics part. In the statistics part, so statistics. So statistics, do one thing that we will continue in the next video. Okay. Yes. So now we will move on to what is statistics in economics. So statistics, before that you need to know some words or some concepts in this. So that is, first one is economic data. So for analyzing any of the study or any of the problems, you need to collect data. So those collected data are called economic data. So economic facts are called economic data. Okay, so that those collections of data or those collections of facts you use for studying purpose. So that means if you are taking a problem, that means you are going to study about the problem of poverty in India. So you have to take all those data regarding the poverty of India. So that means unemployment rate, or what are the policies taken by government to control poverty, or how much people are under poverty now, that is absolute poverty as well as relative poverty. So all these facts or all these economic facts relates to the economic data. So with these data only you take the decisions, or you take the necessary solutions to the problem. So our problem now here is poverty. So what to do to eliminate poverty or reduce poverty is depending upon the policies you frame according to the study that you have done with this collected data. So these solutions to these problems are called policy in economics. So statistics you call policy. For this policy means it is the solutions for the economic problem you framed. So that is it. So statistics means actually it deals with the collection, analysis, interpretation, presentation of the collected data. So for a specified problem, you collect the data, you organize the data, you present the data, and also you conclude and interpret the data. So according to your study, you will shape your data in such a way that you are getting a proper solutions for your economic problem or research problem it is called. So that is how you actually shape your economic problem. So that is also used in the branch of management, physics, finance, psychology and sociology. So in all these things you need research or research methodology, that is called statistics. So for economics we use statistics for the analysis of economic problems like problem of poverty, inflation, then unemployment, then deflation situation. All such economic cases you use these statistical data to conclude with a policy strategy. Then what does statistics do? The statistics is an indispensable tool of economics. That means you cannot separate economics and statistics and go with a separate headings. So that means it is like what you can say, milk and water mixed together, you can say. So that means you cannot separate back statistics and economics, because all the economics problems are solved or solutions are taken by these statistical techniques. So statistics means you have two types of definitions for that: singular definition and plural definition. So statistics in the singular sense. So statistical in singular sense means, you have to note down these things because it is not there in your textbook. I am covering it from outside textbook. So statistical in plural, that means plural sense means it is actually the what you can say, statistical means it is the collection of data with a what you can say, with a field of inquiry. Inquiry means a specified field of inquiry. Means suppose if our example is poverty, means poverty is our inquiry problem. So on basis of the poverty we are actually conducting our study. So that is our statistical inquiry. So based on the statistical inquiry, all the collected data are called statistics in the plural sense. And in the singular sense, that it is just the collection, organization, presentation and interpretation of the collected data, numerical data. So that is statistics in singular sense. So plural sense means any definite facts about the statistical inquiry. It is not enquiry, it is inquiry. INQUIRY. So that is statistical inquiry. That means any definite path of study or a field of study. Then you have statistics, some features of statistics. That is, statistics are aggregate of facts. If you take statistics or if you see statistics, it is full of facts, numerical facts. Then statistics are numerically expressed. You cannot express these qualitative aspects in terms of statistics. You cannot express beautiness or cuteness, or you could say tall, short. All these things are, you can mention it with height, but the qualitative aspects you cannot include in the statistical inquiry. Then you have statistics are affected by multiplicity of causes. That means if you are taking poverty now, you are taking poverty now as a problem, so that is actually caused by multiple of causes. That means inflation can cause poverty, unemployment can cause poverty, or what you can say, all other causes with a faulty implementation of policies can cause poverty. So all these causes, so they have multiplicity of causes in the statistical inquiry. Then statistics must be enumerated or estimated according to the reasonable standard of accuracy. So if you are going to study, you have to take the data which is more reliable to you and which is also free from the bias. Bias means errors. Then statistics are collected in a systematic manner. So in the next chapter we are going to deal with the collection of data. There itself you will get an idea of how systematically you collect statistical data. It is not a vague idea or vague process. It is a very clearly and systematically systematical approach to the statistical inquiry. Then statistics are collected for a predetermined purpose. So the problem, the research problem should be predetermined. It should not be a vague problem. It should not be a vague research problem. So your research problem should be priorly determined. For that purpose, for that problem we are going to study. So our study will be according to the preset problem. Okay. Then statistics are placed in relation to each other. So you have a very definite relationship between the variables you choose for the statistical inquiry, because poverty and unemployment, they are very much related. Poverty and inflation, they are also very much related. Then you can have father's age and daughter's age. No, not age, height. Father's height and daughter's height. That has also a very good relationship. Then father's age and daughter's age. That has also a relationship. So in statistical inquiry, you will select those data which has only relationship with each other. So variables should be related with each other to have a very fine statistical inquiry. Then you have scope of statistics. Why you are studying statistics? So statistics actually, what you can say, it gives the problem or it gives a conclusion to a problem. So if there is any economic problem, it is like for considering economics, we should say economic problem. So for any economic problem, actually statistics gives the proper answer or for a proper solution for these problems. So policies, it actually helps to formulate policies for the government. Okay. So it helps to study or it helps to elaborate the problem of the economy, and also to take what you can say, take appropriate policies to design those problems. Then you have importance of statistics, that we will continue in the next video. Okay. Yes. So now we will move on to the importance of statistics in economics. So first one is understanding the performance of the economy. So by analyzing with statistics, we can have the clear picture of how the economy works. Then understanding the importance of various sectors of economy. So by analyzing, so in the Indian economy itself, like what you can say, the microeconomics also, when we analyzed, we were analyzing it in a quantitative terms. So we could have a very clear picture of how these sectors, or if in agricultural sector, from agricultural sector was more important, means the contribution from agricultural sector was more to GDP. If industrial sector was important, the contribution from industrial sector was more to GDP. So that is only understood by the statistical data or numerical data. So 7% of GDP is from agricultural sector, 3% of GDP is from industrial sector, or 2% of 2% of GDP is from industry service sector. So for like that, if you say what you can say, these conclusions are made from the what you can say, these conclusions are only made from the statistical data, statistical numerical data. So next is studying the regional balances and imbalances. So if more state, what you can say, if the states are going on an imbalance, means its statistical data will be, what you can say, it will be fluctuating very fast. So if it is giving us stagnant, or you could say a steady statistical data, means you could conclude that that region has a very good balance. Then studying the role of government in an economy and formulation of economic policies. So you could say that how government is important to an economy, or what government plays the role, what role the government plays in an economy to make it stabilize. So, and also it helps the government to formulate policies. Then statistics for planned development. So what you can say, you are planning. So economic planning means, what you can say, those resources we allocate prior to, or we set objectives to allocate the resources. So this much of crores to this sector, this much of crores to this sector. So that means it is actually dealing with the numerical data. So that is also statistics. So it helps the government to properly plan the development process. Then better comprehension of the basic principles of economics. So that means it gives the very powerful relationship between the economic variables, that is production, consumption and distribution. How it is, how a country is more, what you can say, how a country is producing, consuming, or how it is engaged in the process of distribution of income among the people of that economy. Then you have quantitative expression of economic problems, unemployment, inflation, poverty, all these things are economically or numerically expressed through statistics. That means 7% of population under unemployment, 8% of persons under 8% of population under inflation, or 8%, sorry, not population, 8% of total GDP is under inflation. So like that you can have a numerical numerical expression of these economic problems. Then statistics is helpful in research. So for making new policies, new research ideas, all those things, statistics are very important, and it plays a very important role also. So next is you have limitations of statistics, and limitations of statistics, it is not concerned with the individual observation. First one is it is not concerned with the individual observation. If it is inflation, it studies about the whole country's inflation. And if it is unemployment, it studies about whole country's unemployment. It is not like in that junction how many people are unemployed, in this junction how many people are unemployed, like that. It countries, or it takes into consideration about the scenario of whole economy. Then statistics does not analyze qualitative phenomena like goodwill, beauty, honesty. Such cases you can't express in numbers. That is a feeling you get. Happiness, sadness, all those things which are qualitatively expressed, they are actually feelings. They cannot be expressed in numbers or in quantitative terms. So you cannot have a very well rigid defined data for all such qualitative aspects. Then statistical generalizations are true only on average. So sometimes if you are very lazy, or if it is very time consuming to study all the people under the inquiry, you will take a sample from the inquiry and study, and you will generalize the conclusion. Okay, you will say that in summer season some people like to have ice cream. So you will generalize that all people use ice creams in summer season. So that may be not correct. Some people don't like ice creams during summer season. So it is very difficult to study all the people under study. So it may be 1,000 or 10,000 or 1 lakh people for studying. So what we will do is we will select a sample from the population. Population means it is the targeted group of study. So population means targeted group of study. So from targeted group of study we select a sample of 10 or 50 or 100 and study them. And we conclude what we got from these samples. So it may be not correct for whole population. So it may be not like that. It may be not like that ice creams are more sold in summer season. Maybe ice creams are sold more in monsoon season also, or winter season also. So there must be people who use ice creams in winter season as well as monsoon seasons. So that is the generalizations you make. So sometimes these generalizations will not be correct according to you make with the average or samples. Then improper use of statistics. It can be misused. It can be it can be faultily used. That means suppose one person has been conducted the study and he has been collected the data also, but it will be reused by another person without any knowledge of him. So that will be also a misuse or a faulty use of statistical resources. So these are the limitations of statistics. And now actually this is the end of the introduction chapter. So from next class onwards we will be dealing with collection, organization and presentation of data. How you collect the data, how you organize the collected data, and also how you present the organized data. Okay, so that is what we have to discuss in the next class. So now it is actually we are done with the first chapter. So I guess it is clear for you now what is statistics. Statistical inquiry. Statistical inquiry means our problem of study or research problem we can say. And yes, so these are the yes, so these are the things related to the statistics. That is the introduction of statistics, and I hope this is clear for you now. And in the next class we will be dealing with the collection, organization and presentation of data. So thank you.